Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I did it. I got my Grail watch. The Vacheron Constantin Overseas with the blue dial. And let me just say, it is absolutely epic. I'm going to talk about on this episode why it was my Grail watch, why it's the perfect fit for my lifestyle and where my life is going, how long I was on the wait list for, and overall the buying experience at Vacheron Constantin's AD, why I think this is the perfect entry watch into the Holy Trinity, and why I sold my beloved Rolex GMT Master 2 Bruce Wayne and Rolex Explorer 40 to pay for this watch. My name is Shane Walls and I make my living as a fine art nature photographer and explorer. I've come to truly depend on my tool watches when I'm out in the field. Whether it be timing my hikes or timing my camera exposures, tool watches are an intricate tool in my photography process. And these episodes on this channel are based on my amateur watch collecting journey as I search for that ultimate tool watch. For those of you who follow my watch content on this channel, you would have known I've always coveted a Vacheron watch. And why I went with this watch, I love the simplicity of it. I love that it can still be an absolute high-end luxury watch while still being able to be used as a tool out in the wilderness, out in the field. I mean, this watch, 150 meters of water resistance, extremely anti-magnetic, as well as shock resistance. I believe this is one of the few luxury watches, true luxury watches, a high horology watch that is both a luxury and tool watch. I mean, this is the definition of the one and done watch, which I'll talk a little bit more about later when I get into watch collecting. That's what really drew me to this watch. It's everything in one watch. The only thing I was hesitant, because I'm going to be using this in the field. I'm going to be beating the heck out of it. This is a high-end handcrafted movement. It doesn't have a free-sprung balance wheel. I was a little worried about hitting it, shocking it. It does have a little bit of anti-shock resistance in it. That was my only sticking point, but I was very fortunate. A couple years ago, I ran into Corey. He's talking about his photography, his amazing photography. And I was able to run into him afterwards and I said, hey, is that watch really tough enough to be out in the wilderness? And the great thing was he rolled back his sleeve. It wasn't the Everest watch, it was a similar watch to this, same movement. And he said, well, here you go. And the watch was beat to heck. And Vacheron wasn't paying him to say this. This was in the background. This was a photography event. And he told me, hey, he beats the heck out of it. It works just fine. So that's plenty for me to know this watch is gonna be tough enough for me and my photography, what I do out in the field. Now, before talking to Corey, I was a little worried about how robust this watch would be, how it can handle the wilderness. He showed me how capable this watch is. Another thing I was a little worried about before I got this watch is its accuracy, and it doesn't have hacking seconds. That at first bothered me that this watch didn't have that. I love to set my watches exactly accurate. However, and I can't believe I didn't think about this, this watch, first off, extremely accurate. Timing it, it's about half second fast a day. And the great thing about this watch too, the way I leave it overnight, I can manipulate to day accurate time. So it's usually about a half second fast and I just leave it on its side at night and it loses that half second. So this watch is extremely accurate. As for the hacking seconds to get it perfect, I'm not sure if it's just the way this is built, the design or the craftsmanship. I'll turn it when it's dead, when the power reserve runs out, the 60 hours of power reserve, to screw to get the spring wound to get power to the watch. All my other watches, it really all depends. It could be sitting for days, weeks, months, whatever. The Rolex watches, one turn, the seconds hand could start moving. It could be 10 or 15 turns. That same watch, same time laying around. It really all depends, or it doesn't depend, it was just completely random. This watch, no matter if it's been sitting for a couple hours, couple days, or even a week completely dead, it's always about the 5 or 6 turn of the crown. The seconds hand starts moving. And that's been invaluable to get dead accurate time. It's just as good as, not just as good, it's about 90% of the way get hacking. Then if you're a second or 2 off, all you have to do is just rest it differently at night. Straight up usually gains time. Crown usually loses time. So I can keep this day accurate. Another reason I've been leaning towards this watch, as I've mentioned in my earlier videos, my life's changing a ton. I'm trying to whittle down my watch collection here. Maybe not to one watch, but we'll have to see how this goes. I recently purchased a camper van. I'm gonna be traveling around the country photographing the national parks. I can't really take a watch collection with me. So I wanted a truly special watch, a unique watch to take on this adventure with me, because this is an adventure of a lifetime. I can't wait for it. And I want something truly special to commemorate every scratch on this watch. I'm gonna think back to these travels. Vacheron is the longest watchmaker, 270 years they're celebrating this year. Handcrafted watches, they don't make that many of them, which drew me a little to this watch, the uniqueness of it. Talking to my AD, my Vacheron AD, for how many Rolex Submariners Rolex makes, it equates to this watch. Vacheron makes about the same in a year as Rolex makes Submariners in a day. Now we can't 100% quantify or prove those numbers. It's kind of all hearsay, but that just goes to show you there's very, very few of these watches made a year. And I wanted something more unique. I thought it'd be fun. Also with the idea of high horology. Now, I'm not bad-mouthing Rolex in any way, shape, or form here. I love my Rolex watches. I still think they're the best in the world. They'll stand toe-to-toe with this watch any day. However, a Rolex watch, and give it to the engineers and the engineering of that watch, I don't think a human hand touches that watch as it goes through the production line. It's all done by machine. Nothing wrong with that. It makes a great, accurate, one of the most accurate, best watch movements in the world. There is something though, however, about a high horology watch that most of this watch was hand done. And that might be the romantic side of me thinking that's really, really cool, but to know, I mean, open case back with the gold rotor that was hand carved. Someone spent hours, days, weeks with their bare hands working on this watch. It's romantic side of me that I love that idea. I love that idea of watchmaking. Yes, a machine can do it, and yes, a machine can do a very, very, very good job at it. But the idea that instead of pumping out watches, millions of watches, Rolex sends out, I think it's 1,000,003 watches a year, that's the estimate. And Vacheron does nothing even close to that. Not even, I think, I might put, if I'm wrong, I'll put it up here. I think they only make about 25,000 watches a year, if that. And that's all guesstimate. That uniqueness to the watch, as I grow in my watch collecting journey, I'm learning about myself that those little nuances, I guess I would say, are pretty special. This watch, and I know for a fact this watch will last the rest of my life. It's the engineering behind it, and know someone touched this with their hands and spent time diligently working on this watch. All the fine detail. I mean, looking at the case back here, it's incredible the detail and the beauty that went into this watch. The fact of the matter is, it's difficult being on the road. It's difficult being out here for days, weeks, months at a time. It's a hardship, it really is. The Vacheron Constantin Overseas, it's almost uplifting. It's that touch of luxury that you don't have out here in the wilderness. And every time I look at it, when I'm timing my exposures, it just gives that little smile on my face, and it reminds me why I'm out here, why I'm putting myself sometimes through hell to get that photograph. It's just that little piece of elegance that can't be found anywhere out in nature. Nature is absolutely beautiful, but it is rough, it is harsh. That little touch of home, that little touch of luxury makes it worth it. It's like that when you're driving all night and the sunrise is coming up. It gives you that extra energy, it gives you that push. The Overseas does that for me, and that's why I find it a truly special timepiece. Rolex is that big name. People recognize it, and I guarantee you if I had this watch next to a Submariner and a baddie came up, they would go for that Submariner, hands down, even though it's a lot more expensive. Because no one, being in the watch community, still a lot of people don't know Vacheron. My friends who are somewhat familiar with watches, I'll ask them. They know Rolex, they know AP, they know Patek. They very few know Vacheron. So I think this watch will really go under the radar with my travels. Talking about going under the radar, you would think maybe I would have gone for the black dial, but this blue dial is so gorgeous and striking. And I love how in certain situations, it looks like the black dial. When I'm inside under fluorescent office lighting, the dial goes black. It's jet black, it's gorgeous. But then when you come out in the sunlight, you get this burst of blue. It's very subtle, and just got the starburst and the luster of this blue dial is it's one of the most beautiful blue dials I have ever seen in my life. And I say this a lot, that picture, video, don't do watches justice. No more so in any situation this watch. The date window has a white background. It's so much easier to see. I don't like how they, APs, for instance, how they have the same color date window. It's so hard to see in the dark. I love this white. The bracelet, it feels a little flimsy, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm just used to heavy duty, over-engineered Rolex bracelets. I thought the Rolex Submariner was the most comfortable watch I've ever worn. Or excuse me, the Rolex Explorer 40 too. I thought that was one of the most comfortable watches I've ever worn. Nothing compared to this bracelet. This thing is dragon scale on. It's the most comfortable watch. Now I know what I'm about to say is unfair and it's not a fair comparison, but I am a Rolex fanboy. I love my Rolex watches. I always will. After wearing the Overseas though, I'm not gonna lie, it does make the Rolex watches feel a little clunky and not nearly as elegant. I know, again, it's not a fair comparison. I love Rolex. Again, I always will. I want to get that point across. Just this is a different level in the way of watchmaking. I know the price reflects that. And I know Rolex watches aren't designed or built or manufactured to be like this, to be this elegant, to be this simplistic, handmade. I mean, every time I look at it, I'm just mesmerized by it. This is a whole new level. I mean, it gives that elegant look with a tool feel and simplicity that is dynamic in the same way. I've never seen another watch, no other watch has affected me like this. And seeing it in person, online again, it feels a little underwhelming. It has the Geneva hallmark on it. Really depends on your input on that. Some people think it's an amazing achievement to have the hallmark. Some people think it's kind of a gimmick that came out during the quartz crisis. Either way, I always like seeing third parties review watches, whether it be Meta or just to have someone else's hands judge that watch. I was thinking about getting the GMT or the chronograph of this, but too much was going on. There's too many numbers. This simplistic look with the date being the only number on there, I really enjoyed this. And on that thought of the Holy Trinity, Vacheron, AP, and Patek, I still think it's got the least amount of history, but again, personal opinion, I think it is the best looking watch out of the three if you go for the Nautilus and the Royal Oak. They don't have the water resistance They don't have the anti-magnetic. As well, with this watch, you get an 8-year warranty. That's industry leading. I know AP and Patek, like this one, they come with 2, but you can upgrade. Patek and AP, you can only upgrade to a total of 5. They can add 3 years on. This one, upgrade to 8 years warranty. That just goes to show you the confidence that Vacheron has in its design and its craftsmanship. Also, this watch is fitted with a quick release system, so you can change out straps easily, and the watch does come with 2 extra straps, a rubber and a leather one. However, I wish Vacheron offered more types and colors of straps. This watch is easier to get. I waited a year for this watch on the waiting list. I was treated, let's jump into my buyer's experience. Part of the Holy Trinity, I felt and this has, buying experience isn't that big deal to me. If it was up to me, I would like to just, get the call, go pick up the watch. I don't need to sit down. I don't need a glass of champagne. Just call, I'll fit it myself. The buying experience in the way that how I was just treated, and I'll use Rolex as I've been doing throughout this whole video. Rolex ADs they are very good. I have a great relationship with mine, but they are a little sloppy. After the experience I've had with Vacheron, I've realized they are a little sloppy. Vacheron was so nice. I went into the AD, I said, I want this. They walked me over the computer, typed in, put it in the computer, and then I could see how long I'd be waiting. And they pretty much called it. They said 8 months to a year, this would become available. And it was so nice going back to the AD and being able to look on the computer and say, oh, there's still 33 people or whatever in front of you. Go the next time. Oh, there's now 15 people in front of you. So it's probably gonna be 5 or 6 more months. That was so nice. Rolex, AP, Patek wouldn't do that. And out of the 3 Holy Trinity, I mean, you can kind of count Rolex in this. AP wouldn't even take my name. Patek wouldn't even take my name. And they flat out told me I would have to buy another watch before I could get the Royal Oak or, what was I'll put right here what the Patek watch I was interested in. They flat out told me, no, you have to buy this. Vacheron never even brought it up. They just told me, hey, you could get this in a couple weeks or you can wait the year. And I said, I want to wait a year. And it was so refreshing coming from the Rolex AD to this and just be able to see your name on a list moving forward. I found that to be a great buying experience. That all being said, the best buying experience I've had is with Tudor when I got my Tudor watch. That was still the most fun. They had bourbon, everything that, people were, it was a fun, it almost became a little party. After Tudor, it is Vacheron. I was happy with how that went. Now, all that being said, if you didn't know already, that this is a very, very expensive watch. I make my living as an artist, as a photographer. So I can't afford to just build this huge collection. I wanted to when I first started watch collecting decades ago. But now, as I mentioned again, I'm going on this photography project that's going to take me away from home, so I can't have this big collection of watches in a van with me down by the river. Sorry, I always have to go to that. I don't want to have this big collection of watches sitting in the van. I want 1, 2, maybe even 3 watches that I can keep on my person at all time. This felt a better fit than some of my other watches. And I'll talk more in a future video. I think it's come out next week or the week after. It'll be the state of my watch collection. I was able to get all these watches together for one last time. Almost all of them. It was kind of fun to see everything together. But I'll talk about why real quick, since this watch encompasses so many things, and it speaks to me as a watch enthusiast. Selling some of my Rolex watches, this watch, I wouldn't want to just go pay the money for it. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure it's worth the amount of money this watch is. It's a date and time. Given it's exquisite, the refinement of it is exquisite. But with the tariffs, with price hikes over the last, I think this watch has gone up about $5,000 in the last 4 or 5 years. Given that it has been upgraded, this is the 4520, and they've changed the bracelet, they've cleaned up the date, they've done a few little things to make it a different watch. So I guess you can somehow comprehend the price increase for that, or it's acceptable in a way. Still though, this watch I still feel is a bit overpriced. So it was better interest in me to sell those Rolex watches. The great thing about Rolex watches is I was able to sell both of them used, surface scratches, actually some had some deep scratches, for more than I paid for them. And that more than easily covered the cost of this watch. So 2 watches for one, that math doesn't really work. I'll talk more in the watch collection why the GMT Master 2 and the Rolex Explorer 40 had to go. It just, to be able, when I first started out my watch collecting journey, I thought it wasn't even gonna be a watch collecting journey. It was gonna be that one and done watch. I started with Swiss Army watches, and every time one watch broke, I just replaced it for another. I never kept my watches, which I'm bummed about. I should have. But I was traded in for money. I didn't have much money at the time. To have that one watch, or 2 or 3, that you can really share your experiences with, every scratch is a story. I'm moving more towards that. My collection is going to be whittled down over the next couple months before I go on this project to more unique, all-around watches. This is the start of a new collection. I'm going to keep some of my Rolexes, so for you people who follow, you'll see in the next video which ones I kept. They're going to be my true tool, beat the hell out of watches. But as I travel throughout the United States, Canada, Mexico, I'm going to be doing meetings, I'm going to be doing fundraisers, I'm going to be doing art events, and I'm going to be doing a ton of hiking and a ton of photography out in the wilderness. This watch covers all those boundaries, no questions asked. Simple and easy. And the beginning, I'm getting married later this month. I wanted a truly unique special piece for that. This is going to be that watch. So this is going to be a new step. My life is completely changing. Things are going a totally different direction that I didn't see a couple years ago. Whittling down, working on photography, living the photography. And I really want to be part of that and really put myself out into nature and just be out there. It's so hard to compete these days with other photographers who just have your phone's your camera. To put myself above them, I gotta be out there more. I gotta experience more when nature, when the weather, when everything is just the most perfect, most beautiful, incredible moments. And the only way to do that is be out in nature more and more and more. This is gonna be the perfect timepiece to come with me on those adventures that I can go down to Yosemite, shoot these amazing scenes of the storms coming in, the wildlife, camping, sleeping out in the rain, then going over to the campsites, taking a quick shower, and going to the Ansel Adams Museum for an exhibit where I have to dress up in a suit and tie. This watch will cover all that. On my wrist, it'll never need to leave it. I'm very much looking forward to the stories and adventures I'm about to have with this watch. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this content, give us a like, subscribe. We're gonna be doing a lot more of it. And all this helps out our channel, as well as too, you wanna support the channel, buy my book, my photography book, my award-winning photography book. We're nearly sold out. I think we only have about 50 or 60 copies left, and we're not reprinting it anymore. This is it. The photography chip I'm about to go on, that's gonna be the next book, come out in 2 or 3 years. But for now, those are the last books. Help support the channel. And if you really like this stuff and you like my artwork, buy an art piece. We're selling quick right now. Business is growing. We only do 18 prints. Once they sell out, they're gone. We destroy the files, the film. We don't print any more after that. So help support in any way you can. I really do appreciate it. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.